How is it even possible? Maybe somebody in the live stream can tell me how to access my bookmarks. Pulling up. That's crazy.
I wish I could tell you.
Okay, here we go. No, record. Here we go. What a night. Holy cow. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Goldfish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Friday, April 18th, 2025. This is Goldfish Report number 1149, and it's our weekly food for the soul with psychic medium Mark Christopher Nelson and his lovely wife and co-paranormal investigator, Barb Nelson. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And you know what's crazy? What just happened is we're talking and getting ready for this report. My X account has let's see. I'm gonna screen share this so everybody can see what's going on. I have some incredible stuff to share with tonight, but you know, Mark and Barb are here and they're going to talk about look what they did. There's no Does anybody see it? Am I missing it? Bookmarks. Do you see the word bookmarks here on the left?
Go, how about more? Go down to more.
I mean, I pay premium membership on here and I can't even get my bookmarks. Like, what on earth? Oh, I
There,
have to go in here and get it. Okay. Well, thank goodness for that. Okay, so having said that, let
they
me,
hid them.
They hid them.
yeah, they hit them. Well, thank goodness we found them. Thanks for helping me find them. Okay, so that's not the one that, okay, everyone saw this. Let me see if I can pull up the original video of this actually falling down. I know I saved it. Um, This week we saw Katy Perry and a bunch of Barb, do you want to line this up while I'm looking for the clip?
So, it's been compared to the movie Moonraker, James Bond movie. Um, it's Jeff Bezos's fiance. Oh God, what's her
Katy
name?
Perry,
Katy Perry,
three other ones.
Oprah's best friend,
And all
Gail.
three carry air cushion.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, there they are.
There it is. Here it
And
is. This is the moonlight,
yeah.
or this is the, oh my God, could you imagine how hard that must have hit? Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they're all there clapping like, yay,
Is
it's
that the
real.
Kardashians?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, there's been some controversy over whether it was for real or staged or faked or whatever. Also, too, look at the windows. They made a big thing about how that capsule had the biggest windows that of any space capsule,
Mm.
and those have to be engineered. I mean, and they look like they're plastic.
You know what? You know the thing that gets me
They
though is
didn't even like vibrate when they fell. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
it doesn't look like there's any discoloration on this thing. It just looks like
Right. Yeah, it's re-entering into
the
it
atmosphere.
has to go through the heat and there's no scorching. I mean, it's like perfectly perfect.
Mm. Little too sus, isn't it? Little suspects. And you see people like you can almost see something, I
And
don't know. Are they up in there like out there
and
looking around? That's so stupid. Like nobody's really gonna do that.
yeah, and also too, they usually land it in the water because it's a softer landing than they do it on the dirt.
Yeah, watch. That looks so CGI though, right there, doesn't it?
Kind of does. The other thing too is if would you be sitting up in those windows in anticipation of that kind of a hard landing?
Look how they're all smiling and
That's the
clapping. It
Kardashians.
is Kardashians, it
Yeah.
is. So
Oh,
well we have some other video on it though. And you know,
but the
when
biggest,
they came out, hold on a second, when they came
do you
out,
have that one?
I have the clip of when they came out, so we're going to take a
Okay.
look at that. Oh, I have some other things to share too. Did I bring that? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that off until I can find it.
Okay.
Hang on one second. I got to move that out of the way.
Well, it's like,
Um,
all the money they put into sending millionaires into outer space. Was that really a
Well, he's
great,
he's competing with Elon Musk.
how about failing to compete with
Yeah,
Elon Musk?
one second.
So,
Okay. I have
and
so much stuff here.
that's what they said. He's in competition.
And I'm
Yeah. Is that it? No, that's not it. Hold on. I have to go back up. It's not in the right order. That's why I had to move the
Are
uh
you going to show when they open the door? Or
yeah, it's like
yeah, yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
here we go. Is everyone ready for that? So in case you missed it, this is what happened when they opened the door, which is really very comical. Oh my God, it's very
Did he
comical.
trip? Did you show that he tripped?
let's see.
Hold on a second. Let's go back to the beginning. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
Okay, now I want you to watch the hatch door open from the inside. The lady runs over there real quick, says, no, 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 shuts the door back, tries to stand in
Door.
front of it.
Okay,
Here
I
he
have
is trying to get the gadget to open it. So it's not
there
fooling
are
any,
so
Okay,
many
now I want you to
it's
watch the
not fun. It's not fooling anybody. What'd you say, Barb?
so yeah, so okay, regular capsule, right? That door looks like it's what, 3 inches thick, like nothing. The,
Probably an
the
inch. I don't know.
and the astronauts inside are not supposed to be able to open it. It's always open from the outside to get out.
Yeah.
And also, too, the real capsules that they send up in space, the doors are thick. They have to be thick. That
Look,
looks
look,
like that
look.
looks like a
She starts
plastic.
to open the door. See? And
Yeah,
the
no, that
person runs
would
over
never
there and they're
happen.
like, look,
No,
the door's open. Look at that. And they're like, no, no,
they're
close the
not
And
door.
very
they're
well trained astronauts, I
yeah.
suppose.
See
Uh,
the bar.
Astronauts. Exactly. They're not.
No, they're not.
You have to
Exactly.
show the one of when he tripped in the hole.
Hold on a second. I'm not sure.
This looks kind
What
of
I
like a
have,
pink.
what I have is this. What does
Oh
that
yeah,
look
the
like to
mannequin.
you? I mean, this
Yeah.
is the mannequin. Look at that hand.
Right,
Look at
right.
the hand there. It's kind of like,
Oh my
what are
God.
they really trying
Oh.
to pull off here? Now, hang on a second. I have another video. Um, there we go. So the Babylon Bee reported, I'm an astronaut," claims Katy Perry giving a ride on
Yeah.
Disneyland orbiter. So here you have it. There you go. That's it. That's really what you saw today. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what you saw in that video. It's just like
Whee!
another version of this, exactly. Fake women in space. You could buy this now. They have these uh
Star Trek like badge.
dolls. No, they're dolls, and it comes with,
Yeah.
all that. And of course the Monarch MK Ultra Monarch butterfly
Right, right.
programming
Oh,
butterfly, yeah,
Oh,
CGI NASA. Yeah, I mean it's and now so someone it's like this was yeah, I didn't get the
he
video of
kissed the
them.
ground.
Yeah, they did, and I can't find that, but somebody did a reenactment of it. Let's take a look.
I'm just so excited to keep learning about STEM and astrology and astronomy and pastrami and STEM. I'm just so
Pastrami.
full of love. I went to space and I liked it. So full of love. Space gives me love. I love STEMs. I just hope people understand that we weren't just taking up space, but we were making space and inventing space and holding space. I'm just so full
Yeah.
of love that now, because I've gone to space, women can go to space. And in another life, I'd be an astronaut. This is just gonna change the space game for women who have never been to space.
So yeah, I mean, there's
Hilarious.
I couldn't pass
I
up
like
these.
that one.
Yeah,
This not that's the girl that was on that airplane.
right, exactly. Who saw someone
Oh
who
my
was,
God.
yeah, exactly.
it
So,
just looks so
it's
fakey. What am I
interesting.
going to tell you? Is this the best they can do?
I know, apparently it is. And I had some other, things I wanted to share about this, but I mean, I can wait. This was, oh my God, these are supposedly, the white lines are supposedly timeline corrections. And the black lines, like when there's big gaps, that's a deletion of our timeline. So I don't know how timeline mechanics work. Just this is what some people have described. This is the frequency of the planet. Um,
Oh,
yeah, this is the
that's
shoot.
funny because my ears have been ringing too.
Absolutely, there's a absolute correlation between this oh yeah,
Yeah.
people definitely have symptoms when this comes in. So here's another version of that. India landed on the moon, so they did their version. If you
India.
can see.
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Sri S. Somnath.
I mean,
That's
people are just it's quite funny though, I have to say. It is quite funny. But
wow.
we do have, um did you have any more comments you wanted to make about that or anything else you wanted to say, Barb?
Just I think you're probably right. It probably was some type of a ritual. Because why it just came out of the blue, like all of a sudden, oh, we're all going into space and it's all women. I mean, like
Yeah.
what are they doing? Is this a distraction or
Well, obviously there have been female astronauts,
there have been.
lots of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're trying to make themselves, they're the first millionaire female,
Right.
somewhat society-based, social media queens and influencers in space, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show you something else because, you have to understand with these people. It's let's see if I can find
The
it.
other thing to keep in mind too is that how much misinformation are we still getting? How many people have a vested interest in lying to us? Here's Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this? What is their, side? I mean, it's not working, but why are they doing it? I mean, why are they making such a thing? Oh, and the people, it's not like they chose really deserving, extremely interesting, thoughtful, educated, important women. They've got a bunch of, women that have extra money and are friends of friends.
Yeah, I mean, of all people to go into, to do this with, I mean, what a publicity stunt. It must be for something coming up that we don't know like anything about, right? I need to try to, I can't seem to do it.
Well, one thing, if this really did happen, it's an extremely good science experiment. We get to see what cosmetic filler does in outer space. It appeared that some of their lips blew up really big. I don't know if anyone else noticed that.
Well, I wanted to try to show you the patch that they had used, and the patch from their little mission that they are on. So let me screen share that. Unfortunately, I've tried to put this, I took a screenshot and I did try to turn it around so you could see what it normally looks like. But let me just share it. So this is what it looks like. This is their patch that they were wearing.
Origin. Oh.
It's upside down. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
get but it does look a
Yeah.
lot like
The
because
bees.
all their names are here. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Bo, Flynn, King, Perry, so that's their little flight, but it does look a lot like this.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that
Okay.
ironic?
So this
Oh.
to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
That's
this. Okay.
more than
To
a
this.
passing
Yeah.
resemblance.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, definitely. And there was also, let me see, maybe it's just on my profile page. Can't lose my bookmarks again. There was also a little video. It almost looked like some kind of ritual, and knowing them, it probably was a ritual of some kind. But there's no, I can't find it. So I just wanted to share that, and talk about that up front. And I really should have started out by saying, this is Good Friday. Um, this is the Holy Week, really, for the Christians around the world. And um, I have to just tell you how interesting. I have interesting things happen to me on these
Uh-oh.
days. Oh no, no. I literally dreamed about somebody
Barbara had a wild dream too, so we'll let you tell.
who died on, not this year, but I mean on a a Good Friday. I had a dream that someone had died. And 2 days later, I had a dream that they rose from the dead. I'm not kidding you. And it wasn't Jesus. It was somebody I knew. And I asked them, what was it like underground? He said,
Oh,
I
good.
don't want to talk about it. But I mean, so then today, I came upon an amazing biblical discovery of huge proportions. I'm so, so excited about this. I had to put a few things together, and I have to say, I didn't do all the credit. I don't get all the credit. I mean, other people have done more research, but I started putting more things together. Um, and I want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it right now. So I'm going to save it for the end of the report if we have
Okay.
time. Otherwise, I'll do another report on it. But it's huge. It's huge. It's so huge. Like and it's on
Oh,
Good
you're killing me.
Friday.
Just go into it. Can you talk
I'm
about it?
so
It's like you're
sorry.
not gonna
I
make this wait
I've
another.
never I've never been this excited about something. I will get it done as we, by the end of the report, okay? Because I want to do our regular report first. But I will say this. Um, Let me see if anyone's in the chat. Done.
One thing too, I was hoping we could talk about this week were all of the earthquakes that seem to be popping up in and around California. Have to admit, I really thought I saw that coming in a
Mhm.
big way, and
Mhm.
Yeah, active volcanoes.
so
Mhm.
California seems to be a popping, which is unfortunate for all of the people that are there. I pray it's just, the
Mhm.
usual bounce and nothing more than that. But it's been interesting.
Well, the reality is, nothing like that, actually. The reality is that there is not just a magnetic pole change on the planet, but it's the crust. There's going to be a pole shift of the crust of the planet as well. And that's what all these earthquakes are starting to are happening all over the world. The volcanoes are happening all over the world. The weather is getting more intense. There is weaponized weather, but it's not always weaponized weather. Everything will get more intense until this happens. In fact, this wasn't really what I wanted to talk about today. I mean, it's related in a sense, but it's it is a quite honestly, it's actually in the Bible as well. I really have to do a special report on this. It is in the Bible. It's warning us. We do know about the end times right before tribute or the beginning of tribulation when the asteroid hits. This is the time when these earth changes are going to happen, and we are in these beginning revelation. We are in I believe that we are on that timeline. Um, whether you know so anyway, these things are going to be increasing in frequency, unfortunately. There's going to be a huge the New Madrid is going to go off. That goes down the St. Lawrence Seaway, up through like from Nova Scotia down through upstate New York into the Great Lakes down the Mississippi. That whole area is going to uh widen. Now, some people might say won't happen for it's hard to say when exactly it's going to happen, but it's, probably very soon. Um, there's uh, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Uh, these are all plate tectonic boundaries and huge fault lines. There, that's expected to widen, which means the East Coast is going to lose some territory. It's a subduction zone under that.
Mm.
And there's going to be a widening according to uh well, according to several sources. There's going to be a widening of the Atlantic, which means there's going to be like a gap opening up, water's going to rush in, and then it's going to rush back out, basically creating a tsunami. Now it's going to go towards the East Coast. I'm sorry, it's going to go east towards Europe, and Europe's going to be hit really hard with a very large tsunami, but it's going to swash back as water does, and it's a basin, so it will swash back to the East Coast. So this is why you've seen pictures of New York underwater. You've seen pictures. In fact, we've seen video of whole bays, like Tampa Bay was missing its water there was videos surfacing over the past few years of where huge bays, even one in Brazil, I think it was, South America somewhere, there were just the water was gone. It was all
Right,
gone out of the
right.
bay. And this is the swash, this is supposedly related to these events. The water came back eventually, but I think it was also in Jamaica or something, and people were wondering where did all the water, that's a lot of water. But this is what's happening. And the government's not telling the people. This is the real reason they're building the underground bunkers around the world, all the deep underground bases and things, aside from the nefarious things that they've used it for. All the elites are building these underground bunkers because this is what they think they're going to do to survive. Um, so there is going to be events coming, whether they're going to be in our lifetime. I actually think they probably will be. But 20, I don't know. I mean, the government's not telling the people, but I can tell you that there's a lot of changes that are Trump's trying to put in place very quickly in order to um, in order to bring about societal changes and things that need to happen uh, in order to rebuild the world in a sense once these major events happen. Um, if you're up in elevation, you probably have nothing to worry about, like, in the Appalachians where you guys are, if you're up in the Rockies and stuff like that. There's areas and it's all in the Bible. It tells you that as well. But it's all now we have Ben Davidson from Space Weather News. He is also discussing this. He's also put out a list, which I can share with you. I didn't really want to get into this, but since you did bring it up, I mean,
I
I
brought
can't.
it up and it is fascinating. I mean, in terms
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not feeling anything, but you know what, too, guys? I reserve the right to be wrong or to like sometimes I think my subconscious goes, wait, this is too much, I can't handle it. I don't think I'm up for it.
Yeah.
I'm just this person, like anybody
Mhm.
else. And the idea that, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people could suddenly
Mhm.
lose their lives due to natural disasters. I mean, just going back to your mention of the New Madrid Fault,
Mhm.
um, Daniel Boone, it was the last time that happened was in the time like early 1800s, 1810,
Yeah.
11, something like
Mhm.
that. Daniel Boone built a home in Missouri, not that far from the New Madrid.
Mhm. Mhm.
And back then, the idea of a river was that it was kind of like a freeway. You could get on a river and go many places very quickly. Well, he built his house on it. The New Madrid fault
Happened.
happened. It was ringing church bells in Boston.
Mhm. Mhm.
But the river next to him jumped and moved away 24 miles. So all of a sudden, his house in a river was 24 miles from the nearest waterway.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah, that
kind
created Table Rock Lake in Missouri. It created a lake.
so
Uh-huh.
those kind of things. And I mean, it's
It was
difficult.
bad. It was really bad.
It's hard to
But
conceive of something happening that fast.
yeah, there weren't the population was small, so there wasn't a lot of, death and damage. But
Right.
uh,
And this time it's kind of like we need to understand that this is going to happen and that people need to start moving and migrating. And there will be a lot of migration of people who, you know, uh, are in the low-lying areas or in areas that are directly on fault lines. I mean, we have a Ramapo fault line that runs right through the East Coast up here. There's a lot, uh, of areas that are not going to be safe. Some are in subduction zones where they're going to go down and under another plate, and then that will cause flooding. Um, and I think the best thing to do is go and follow my Telegram and my X channel because I post all that information there and you could do your own research. But I am going to be putting together uh, some a report kind of highlighting all of this and what some other scientists are saying. Now, I'm not a geologist, but there's a lot of people who are scientists, and they are talking about it, and they are talking about how to find, places, safe places to go to move to, and to make sure that you and the fact that these sinkholes are appearing, this is part of it. That according to them, like Ben Davidson, from Space Weather News, uh, the if the magnetic north also, if the magnetic pole is moving and is having irregularities. We're also, you can see what's happening with the sun. I mean, the sun, we're having these coronal mass ejections, so we're having a lot of solar storms, and those are gamma rays going right through us, and feeling every ache and, pain in your body, because that's what they do. They go through us. Um, there's uh there's these sinkholes, a lot of things happening in the air as well. But, it's not all doom and gloom, and I don't want anyone to think it's doom and gloom. I just think people should be up higher in elevation so you can avoid flooding. Um, and um, and that's what I have to say about that. I don't really want to talk about that tonight, but that did come up. So,
Well, one thing I'd tell you is that if you get an alert to move, if
mm,
you think there's a chance, don't wait.
yeah.
That's the one thing that I would say. We know from living in Los Angeles that, you know, any one little thing can cause all of the freeways that you plan to escape on to all become instant traffic jams.
It's a parking lot, exactly. Yeah, and then
Parking lot.
let's see if I can get this. Yeah.
I
So,
would I would add one other thing.
mhm.
It's because we've been through several major earthquakes, and I just people talk about earthquake weather, and there really is. It's
Sometimes it
like
feels
it's
like
like
it.
tornadic weather. It's like you just
Mhm.
feel some
There's some energy about it.
pressure or you know, and that affects animals. So I would
Yes.
I would say
Mhm.
watch the animals, the birds, dogs, cats, because I followed this one guy in Northern California, and what was his name? He's passed now, but he would keep track of all the missing animals in an area,
Oh,
because
wow.
when they know something's coming, they
They
go
run
hide.
away. They run away.
Right.
So every time before an earthquake, like even the one in the San Francisco one not too long ago, um, he's noticed there was an uptick in missing animals.
Mm,
So yeah, they hide. They go, or they're erratic,
mhm.
and so and I don't know what's causing it, if it's from the gases released from the earth or the pressure, or they hears things. They hear the sound of the earth.
Right.
Mm. I thought it was really interesting in this, the San Diego earthquake, not a couple days ago, or the
Mhm.
5.2 in California. And the elephants at the San Diego Zoo formed a circle to
Yep.
protect the young elephants. They knew
Mhm.
exactly what to do, you know. So anyway, I would say definitely watch nature,
Mhm.
that'll give you a little warning.
I agree. I agree. The animals always know.
They know a lot more than we do. They know
Well,
what's going on.
their feet are on the ground, not in
Yeah.
expensive shoes, and they I
Well,
think that
yeah, I'm gonna just, oh wait, I'm on the wrong. Hold on a second. So this is this is this is the article here. It's like, where can I survive the disasters coming with the Earth's magnetic pole shift? And this is a thread here to kind of tell you, like, where to go. Um, So get out of the big cities, no food, no water, and all of these things. Off-grid mountains means that you're not going to have, inconveniences and supermarkets and things. You have to be self-sufficient, if you're going to be there, out. Um, Here he talks about the elevation. I mean, he's definitely saying He's saying here the great waves are coming. So waves this size are very realistic in New York City.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And people who, and even this is in the Bible as well, people who can't escape the coast, it'll be very quick. It'll just be because it's time for souls to go to the next level, to like when you graduate, you go to it, you go, you know, you're done with this level
Mhm.
education, you
Yeah.
go to another level education. Same with the souls. I don't know if you can what you get on that, Mark, but that's, you know,
Um,
there's I think everyone's going to go where they need to go, and you just
yeah.
can't go into any fear about it, right?
No, well, I mean, I do believe we have free will,
Hmm.
but at a certain point, there are going to be events occurring in the world, such as, these
Hmm.
natural disasters that you will have no choice over. It will
Hmm.
be how do you choose to react to them, if at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
So, the idea for me is that try to be conscious of where you're choosing to live and what could go wrong. Barb and I think about it a lot. We moved across the country. We tried to
Yeah.
find a place that is this safer? Is it better? Does it
Hmm.
feel right? For us, it feels right. Doesn't mean that we would survive any natural disasters, but we feel safer here. I would say
Hmm.
the general advice about staying away from major cities. Also, too, the idea that you can have some of your own, if you're growing food, that's great. If you have food stocked up, that's probably a good idea. I also say medicine, medical care. If you can't treat
Hmm.
something, I mean, people die from all kinds of terrible illnesses, infections, and whatnot. So anything you can do to kind of buffer yourself so that you're not gonna have a chance to run out to Target to get what you need after the
Hmm.
disaster hits.
Okay, so right, exactly. So thank you for that. I just wanted to welcome everyone who's in the chat. We have Christy in Mississippi, and we have Frida. We have our friend, I don't know. Oh, Laura. Okay, ouch. I also have a splinter. But aside from that,
Oh, it says the natural disaster.
yeah, I know. Hi to everyone. Welcome. Yeah, so Frida would like to ask Mark if it's possible. Why is she going through so much turmoil with her son David? Maybe is there any, you see what you can get from that for her?
Um,
Answer that question.
I see David, it's almost like he's banging it's like he's like hitting his head, almost angry about something that he thinks he did. I get the feeling that there's either like a chemical imbalance or some kind of a pressure in and or on the side of his head. It's like I'm seeing him hit it. So if he's really behaving in a unusual way, I just have him take him to the doctor. If anything, it'll cause him to rethink if he's just acting out as opposed to reacting to a medical condition, then you can start a conversation with him. Um, I also think too that there's I don't know, I hope I feel like that there is some kind of a drug use going on there or some kind of an outside influence. If David is really having trouble, it feels like that there's like something he's consuming, inhaling, taking that is causing him to have bad reactions. If he's 5, then I'm mistaken, but I just see him like hitting his head, which makes me think that there could be something physiologically problematic.
Hmm. You know what? I interviewed Dr. William Mackis, who has been uh, really just touching wood today. That's where I got the splinter. He's an oncologist out of Alberta. They have absolutely been crucifying this doctor. How ironic I use that term today on Good Friday, but
Yeah.
it's the truth. He has the world's largest cancer clinic, and he is absolutely treating people every day with ivermectin, fenbendazole, and menbendazole. Uh, these turbo cancers, the cures are going to come out, folks. I mean, eventually, I have to tell you something that's really major. And Mark, please weigh in with your um, intuition, and Barb, you can as well, on what I'm about to tell everybody, because there have been a lot of military operations going on the planet. There has been advanced technologies that have been hidden from us, as we could imagine, healing technologies as well. Obviously, medications. We saw this during COVID with the suppression of ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. These are antiparasitics, and basically, you know how many times I've seen videos of, you know, parasites or little eggs in our food. You see the parasites come out of the pork when you pour. You just take a pork chop and pour that's uncooked, and pour Coca-Cola on it, and they'll come out, and you didn't even know they were there to begin with. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, there's so much parasite infestation really of our food supply. I have to say it, and some of it might be intentional, some of it might not be, but that is the cause of a lot of our problems and our health problems. And what the medical community has failed to do was to tell everybody, and it's so easy. The vets tell you to deworm your cat, but they don't tell you to deworm. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of problems are related to parasites when you don't even realize you're getting them. I mean, I've seen people take like a McDonald's French fry and put it under a microscope, and there's little larvae in it. I mean, you can't see it because it's so small. Oh, don't eat that stuff. Are you kidding me? So,
No, we don't.
yeah, so this is the thing. It's like I would always think that, it's always a good idea that everybody do a heavy metal detox, right? Because we're getting aluminum through everything they're spraying on us. And now Dr. Jane Ruby just announced that she sent a sample of whatever was being sprayed over her area in Palm Beach, I think Fort Lauderdale, not Palm Beach, but Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She took a sample of that to Mike Adams, who is the
Right.
health ranger. He has his own food testing laboratory, and he tested this, and there were high levels of mercury in it. I mean, aerosolized mercury that we're getting into high levels of aluminum and barium. These are all heavy metals um, that cause neurodegenerative problems in people.
Right.
So
Wow.
so the thing, how do we detox from this? Just do metal detox. There's lots of different ways. You can Google them. There's a lot, I don't know what the best method is. Um, but you could contact like Dr. McCullough, Dr. Stella Emmanuel from Frontline Doctors. You can contact maybe even Dr. Mackis. But a lot of the um, the Eastern medicines know how to do this as well. So there's things you can do, um, you know, to detox the metals out of your system, which is the cause of autism as well, which is the big, it's amazing how RFK won't say it. Did you hear that? Did you watch him this
Right.
week?
Not until
Right.
September. He's not going to release what he thinks the details are related to the causes for autism.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what it says in September. But,
Yeah.
we are coming. It's very interesting because everyone has to realize that there really is a good force on this planet, or we would all be dead by now. Trust
Right.
me. And
Right.
honest to God, there has to be, right? So
Mhm.
there's a force here trying to protect us, and there's also a force here trying to destroy us. And we have to accept that. We don't
Mhm.
have to like it, but we have to accept that that exists so that we can defend, we can protect ourselves from it and defend that, right? And so um, I'll just continue with the questions right now, and then we'll get back to this.
Okay.
Okay, so Christy is saying I have property in the Mississippi Delta, also property in the Mississippi Hills. Are both of my properties in danger? I can't answer that question. I'm just, reporting what I also have another source. This is crazy. I didn't really give it a lot of credibility until I started seeing it being published in from other places. And
Uh-huh.
then then so there's okay, it's all related actually, but you have these. I'll save it for the end of the report because this is part of it. Let me go to the next question. Um, Laura, I guess you should stay close to the Rockies. Laura, I would say that's a good idea. Yeah. Um, Good evening. Hi, JJ and Joe here. Hi. Yeah, it's okay that you're late. Oh no. She says, you ready for another question, Mark?
Sure.
Okay, so Joe here. Joe, is that a female Joe or a male Joe? I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
J-O-E or J-O?
It's a J-O,
It's probably a lady, I'm
a
guessing.
female, yeah. She says her mother-in-law just passed. Does she have a message for her husband? Her name is Barb.
Her
Oh,
name is Barb. Um,
What about your husband's name? This is for Joe.
okay. I'm looking at Barbara's pointing to like her husband, saying it's like pointing at his arm. So I'm thinking it's like be conscious of cardiovascular health. I'm getting this like be really he's not too old. He's not it's a little young for him to be worrying about his cardiovascular, his heart. She says, um, ask my son to be more attentive to take it seriously to get his heart checked to see if there's like a problem. Because I get the sense that there's either going to be a clot that pops up in a really bad way. It doesn't mean that it's going to be fatal, but it does feel like that this blood clot is going to be a problem for him. He needs to pay attention to it. um, if he's feeling at all out of sorts, tired, dizzy, anything that, or trouble with oxygen, get to a doctor, go talk, have yourself checked out. That's what she's saying. Tell my son to take better care of his heart.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, look it back. Okay. Maybe you can. Yeah, her husband's name is Scott. Maybe you can tell Christy. Christy wants to know if her properties are okay in Mississippi or if they're in danger. What are you getting
I
at for
my
that, Mark?
sense is that Mississippi, I mean, I see like maybe a slight increase of flood water in lower Mississippi, but I would say that the property recovers. It doesn't damage the value at this point. Some of the disasters we're discussing, I mean, while there are great potentialities, I'm not seeing it hitting the Mississippi area. I'm much more concerned, by the way, about California. And then I really feel like that there's going to be severe buckling of land. I also do see that there would be a tsunami on the East Coast, although it is not going to be crippling at this time.
Yeah, so I mean, look, anything can be mitigated too. I mean, with prayer, right?
Mhm.
right.
So that's the other thing.
I would say the Mississippi property for the next 20 years is feeling pretty safe. So, other than of
Mm.
some minor flooding, which seems to be almost normal for that region.
Yeah, I was talking about the Mississippi River. Kind of so bridges during this event, these earthquakes, the new Madrid uh adjustment, that's possibly going to, cause according to these scientists, okay, I'm not the one doing the research, cause a widening of the Mississippi. Uh,
Yeah, it could happen, sure.
yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna, maybe just so I don't want to scare anybody, but at the same time, I really want people to know that there's scientists reporting on this, and it might be a good idea to take a look at this um, for yourself. Now, um, there's people who have been posting images of maps. And I wanted to show you what one of these maps looked like. There's a lot of very interesting. So here's what the magnetic pole. Um, now why does that get smaller when I do that?
One
Hmm.
of the fears I would have about the magnetic pole shifting is what does it do to our food production?
Yeah. I can't, why is it smaller? I'll just leave it like this. Oh my God, look how big it is. So here it was like in 1831, right? Is
Mhm.
where the magnetic pole, North Pole
Oh,
was. And
wow.
this is where we're at now. And this, so it has absolutely been crawling, shifting, and more did, I think in the past 60 or past 30 years, than since we started keeping track of it. So there, this is going to affect everything. Animals. It's going to affect
Oh,
um,
yeah.
navigation for aircraft, naval navigation. Anyone's relying on that GPS stuff and all of that. So this is the issue, and this is going to cause a lot of Earth issues. So let me just go back. Actually, wow, it's like huge. Look how much okay.
Uh,
So let me go back to this so that you can see there is a map. Um, you, and I'm not saying it. I mean, I think we are very close to being on a biblical timeline. This is the elevation map. So, the states aren't lined out on here, but you can see this is Appalachia here, and
right.
here's the Rockies and all of that. Um, and I think that it would be good to position yourself someplace where, you have some elevation, but not on a fault line. And then this is what they were saying. This has been in the military since I've been doing research. I have seen this map. And this is the more severe, like this is the more drastic version of this. I don't know what's possible. This is where new lands will rise up too. This is Lemuria, and this is Atlantis over here, parts of Atlantis, and there are parts of Atlantis in Bermuda. I mean, the Bermuda Triangle down in the
Mhm.
Bahamas, which is why you see a lot of abnormalities coming out of there, and why people would so many planes and boats would disappear, not trains, but
Yeah.
boats would disappear in the Bermuda Triangle because of the technology that they had down there. Um, the technology that is still somewhat activated, and that's why these things would disappear. Now, what kind of technology are we talking about? Well, we have had technology, and this is one of the things I did want to talk about. We have had technology that, well, in fact, this week the White House announced, and this is one of the other things I wanted to share, was we have had mm, more. Hold on, bookmarks. This week the White House made an announcement that was very, very interesting. Um, I'm going to share it with you, and it has to do with um, technology. Now, Trump also this week, President Trump also made a comment saying, we have technology. In fact, I don't have the clip, but we have technology that nobody knows anything about. He was making that point. It was very loaded statement what he said. I'm sure that I've had that clip up before, but this is what the I'm trying to find a shorter clip. Let's see. This is the shorter one. So let's take a look at what this is the new White House Office of Science and Technology. This is the policy director, Michael uh, Kratsios. Uh, so he says that the U.S. has technology that can manipulate time and space. He says our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated. So let's listen to what he has to say. This is exactly what he's going to say. So let's take a listen.
Our passenger planes are slower than they used to be. Our trains crawl compared to those in other parts of the world. Our cars do not fly. Advances have not stopped, but something has gone wrong. Stagnation was a choice. We have weighed down our builders and innovators. The well-intentioned regulatory regime of the 1970s became an ever-tightening ratchet, first hampering America's ability to become a net energy exporter and then making it harder and harder to build. We seem to have lost focus and vision. to have lowered our sights and let systems and structures and bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow, and improve productivity. Our passenger
Okay, so
slower than they used
that's a big announcement. It kind of went very quietly into the night, and a lot of people didn't notice it, but many did notice it. That was huge for a government official to admit that we can manipulate time and space, and we have evidence of that right here. This was
Right.
MH370.
Yep.
These are wormholes which are used for teleportation. They teleported this plane
Yep. They circle
and
it.
it disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay. So what they were doing was they created a wormhole, and this wormhole technology, and the world is being run by Tesla technology. So much so, let me explain something that happened, something that was very, very big deal that happened. I think I have one more video of that. See, even Alex Jones is weighing in on this.
And what I know they've got is over the top insane. And I guarantee you it's way more advanced because I've only gotten certain information confirmed over the years from certain key sources that ran the projects, and some of that off record. And that's why the globalists have been so arrogant, saying, let's just get rid of almost everybody, is because they've got all this advanced technology, life extension, weapon systems, propulsion systems, and they openly talk about if they allow open, free civilization, other companies, countries, groups will develop these things. And then they say it's too powerful. They've got to go ahead and create a global dictatorship, depopulate at least 90% of the population.
All right, I'm going to stop there because what happens is they do tend to weaponize this information, this technology, the cabal. But what has been happening, and what a lot of people haven't been believing, is that there has been an alliance. Q, and you remember when Q first came out, was ridiculed by the legacy media. They were mocked, ridiculed, they were laughed at, they were called conspiracy theorists, they were called, everything that you can think of, because they knew that there was a threat going on. So they've had this technology. I have a lot of other information, but they have this technology that they used. Do you remember hearing how they found miles of tunnels under the Vatican and it was filled with gold?
I didn't hear that one, but I heard
There were tunnels.
I
Yeah.
I reported on this when it first happened, when it first came out. And you're not going to believe this. I have sources. This was even other information that I was going to talk about tonight. There's so much. So tonight was such a, information-packed report. But I have information. I have a source who has told me that this technology, this very technology that you just saw, these plasma infinite energy technologies that we have, the United States government has these technologies. Then you can teleport things with it. You can, let me see if I can find exactly how I want to word this. We have the most powerful technology through the United States Space Force, and the Space Force was one of the reasons that this was created. Although we always had a secret space program, but that was cabal program. That was their program. This is the good guys. Let's hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's satellites that can shut down grids. We can create electricity using Tesla energy connected to wormholes. Teleportation device. It can transport troops. You can literally transport troops through a wormhole. You can transport military equipment. You can make things disappear. When Trump first came into office, he signed secret orders with the military regarding these technologies. I mean, this sounds so sci-fi, but where this is going is that we use this technology. So what do you think the cabal, what do you think the globalists' biggest threat is, right? What is their prized possession? What gives them the power?
Secrecy, us not knowing, our ignorance, our inability to conceive of some of their operations. I would say their ability to do what they want without, all these, we'll call them normies, are just ignoring what's happening, and that way they can almost act with impunity and push their agenda forward to a point where there's nothing you can do if you've been asleep the whole time.
Well, let me ask you this. What do they fear? What do you think they fear?
Exposure, the light. I can tell you just from like doing my little paranormals, Barb and I have done paranormal investigations, and one of the things that these negative entities fear is being identified, outed.
Exposure.
There you go. Well, not only that, but how is it that they get to operate? Let me just check in with the live chat and see if there's any other questions. Yeah. Let me do that. Let me go back to this and I'll come back. I'll come back to this. I just want to make sure we take questions. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. So let's,
Oh,
I don't know how much time I'm going to go. I'm going to go over. You guys don't have to stay on, but I'm going to,
We'll keep going from
because
there.
I opened this can of worms, literally,
You opened
right?
up a wormhole. Yeah.
Yeah, another wormhole. She said so Joe said her oncologist said he gets about 10 patients a day asking about ivermectin and fenbend. He told me there just aren't studies on it, but he wouldn't tell me not to take it. Yeah, there are studies on it. He
Yeah.
doesn't know about it. He should do his
Yes,
research.
exactly.
Dr. Mackis publishes this on he was a Substack. He has a Substack channel, but he also publishes this on his X page. There are, and they don't want to admit that. They
No,
don't want to admit it, but whatever. Okay, so Christy says her property's in the Delta. It's like 2 miles away from the Mississippi River.
I think that it's
Christy, I don't
okay
know.
for now.
Whatever you, what do you have? Sorry, Mark.
No, pardon me too. I think it's normal flooding, but there is great potential down the road. I would say, I'm hearing, you've got at least 10 to 20 years of relatively normal water activity.
Okay, all right, that's good to hear. I hope that helps. Okay, so what I was saying was these these elites under the Vatican, in Switzerland, even the Windsors. I mean, can you imagine the amount of I don't know, what do you call it? Wealth, the antiquities through history. Where do you think all these gems and rubies and all of this gold of all of the, maybe even
Mhm.
antiquities, right? Uh, it's all that they found under it wasn't just gold. They found a lot of this stuff, other things under the Vatican. They found it through the treasury, the Swiss treasury in the mountains of Switzerland. So they have in the mountains of Switzerland is basically their bank vault. It's where you're their safety deposit box, if you will.
Mhm.
Well, using my source is telling me that we use this technology to essentially go and retrieve all of those items from the elite, which
Wow.
totally took all their power away, which is why the Vatican 2 years ago said they were bankrupt, which is why, can you imagine using teleportation technology to suddenly teleport troops into a location, clean it out, and be gone? So
That's altering the world.
this is altering the world, and that's what's happening right now. And if you don't think that now, it's very difficult to really discern. I'm telling you, it's just not easy. I mean, I'm like 10 years I've been doing this, and sometimes I want to just walk away from it all because there's days I feel like, I don't know if this is reliable enough, and I don't And that stresses me out because I'm trying to make sense of the world. I'm trying to figure out things so I can position myself and also I can inform people in the reports. It's very difficult to do that. This is huge. This is so huge. It's near a quintillion dollars worth of valuables that the elites owned, and it was all basically stolen from us.
Right.
It's all our hard work and labor for
Yeah.
generations that all of this, and we're talking about people from the Davos group and all of that, the world leaders. Trump took all that money. And the United States Space Force has very powerful technology. They even took military warheads out of China. Now, what's going to happen? And all of this Stargate system is actually helping what's going on right now in China. There's a long lineage with regard to Xi Jinping and with regard to his father and this communist Chinese party. Basically, communism has come from the Khazarians. It's all biblical, folks. Everything that's going on is very biblical. And the establishment of these central banks and all of that. And they really instituted this communism, and they have been basically stealing from the Chinese people as well.
Right.
And so, believe it or not, this is very cute, but there's always been this alliance with Putin, Trump, Modi, Xi, and Xi Jinping. And uh, they are working together. Now, what's happening right now is a black swan event is getting ready to happen because these tariffs now, you have empty ports, you have ports that can't move equipment, merchandise to the United States because of the tariffs. You have people who don't have work now. You have university students all over China protesting, and this wasn't just because of the tariffs. This started happening.
Right.
And this has been building up for quite some time. So China is going to be in major change. It's going to completely change. China's going to become a republic. I know it's very hard to believe this right now, but China is going to be broken up into several provinces that will each have their own GDP. They'll each have their own governance, but they'll all be a union of Chinese union. I'm not sure how it's going to be called, but that's essentially uh, what it is going to happen. And Xi Jinping is basically essentially going to, I would say, if not martyr himself, but it's certainly his political career over it. And that was the reason he went into power, was to take down the CCP. And this was really an affront to the history of the Chinese people. And certainly the Chinese people don't deserve this. They have genocided so many hundreds of millions of people over in China. And, it's time that this whole system comes down. There will be a financial crash, and there will also be a nuclear war standoff coming up. I've been reporting this for quite some time. I've been reporting that this was in the plans. I didn't know the timing of it, but it does look like it's it's a standoff, so I don't think it's going to happen. I don't really think they're going to be able to use nuclear weapons on this planet. I think that they may be small things, but I doubt it's going to be nuclear war. I think it's going to be more like a Bay of Pigs standoff kind of scenario, from what my sources are telling me. Now, I know you weren't expecting any of this tonight, but again, this is part of the disclosure project, this plasma energy, infinite energy technology, quantum fields of existence, teleportation, and Trump is also trying to bring in a new financial system. I really hope it isn't going to, become this mark of the beast thing, but so anyway, let me go back into the chat. Barb, you have any comments or questions? Or
Well, yeah, there's just so much to deep dive, but what I do know about time travel and the technology, do you remember there was an experiment called the Philadelphia
Experiment.
yes, uh-huh.
where they transported a ship to like another, like, it showed up in another port, like
Mhm.
miles away. And then it went back, and supposedly in the process of, and it was all done with magnetics, by the way.
Mhm.
That's how they did it. And they brought the ship back, and some of the molecules had mixed so that some of the crew members were stuck in the ship. They
They were
had,
embedded, yeah. And
yeah,
that was the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk project. Yeah, and Al
right,
Bielek and his brother were the two who jumped off the ship, and they were the only ones I think who were survived it.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, Al Bielek, yeah.
So, yeah, this technology we've had it for a while. And also too, I want to make a point, you see old photos, people are putting up old photos, and I know things can be photoshopped, but they'll show like in a crowd from 1890,
Mhm.
there'll be somebody in the crowd with a cell phone,
Yeah,
you
I've
know.
seen those. That's wild.
Yeah, and so they'll go, these are time travelers, And
That's pretty wild.
so yeah, it's pretty wild. And but you know what? There's rumors that Trump is a time traveler. You know, he
Yeah.
knows what's coming. He's always one step ahead of
He does
everybody.
appear to be for the
He
most part,
is,
as of
and
late.
yeah,
So
and so you know, interesting to think about that.
Yeah, so Mark, do you have, in terms of, a lot of people are talking about April 20th. Do you have a sense of something happening on the 20th, which is in 2 days, Easter?
Um, in terms of something big, I mean, I wish I could say that. I mean, I feel like that the earthquake activity is, even though we're talking about it, I see it more a West Coast phenomenon.
Mm.
I'm, I don't see any. I do feel like that there is much more turbulence to come in economic markets.
Uh-huh.
It's coming quick, and then I think that we're going to see, a lot of difficulties. But I do think ultimately that these tariffs are going to disrupt and change the way America buys. It's going to um, speed
Mm.
up the changes in our economic system, which I think are essential for the country to do okay.
Mm.
So, but beyond that, on Easter, I mean, on the 20th, I'm not seeing anything. I mean, my fear is everything about the West crumbling, like West Coast having an issue.
Mm.
So, but beyond that, there isn't anything that I think we all need to be
Mm.
in abject fear over.
Oh, well, I'm not saying anyone should be in fear. I think there's some announcement. There's something that's supposed to, something probably may happen. I don't
Every,
know.
everything is happening between the U.S. and China. I feel like China is
Yeah.
trying to force the United States. I think the United States is in a better position to withstand the tariffs than China, and it feels like Trump is purposely trying to um, cause difficulties for their economic system. The
Mm.
China is based on exports. We're their biggest export market. If they
Mhm.
can't export to us, how long, excuse
Mm.
me, can we expect there to be no big reaction from China? A cornered animal can be
Mm.
a very dangerous thing.
Well, the whole idea, is to take down this structure that's been trafficking humans, that has
Yeah,
been robbing people, genociding people. It's to remove them from the planet, really. And I do think that there's a plan for that. I do think that do you see any other assassination attempts coming up on the president anytime
I
soon?
do think that there will be very high placed people
Hmm.
trying to make him sick,
Uh, mm.
trying to make him sick, if not disabled,
Oh
because
gosh.
um, that's something where poisoning could then put Vance in power. But I think that would be a temporary thing.
Mm.
I feel like that anything that happens to Trump would be short-lived, then he would recover. Feels like that any kind of special treatment therapies that would be available would be
Mm.
used to
Mm.
protect him. I am
Mm.
more worried about him being sickened. So it's an interesting, horrible thing.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that Have you noticed him sitting all the time now in the Oval Office? Like
At the
Huh.
meetings.
he's sitting so much. It's bothering me because I'm
All
like,
right, I'll pay more attention
stand
to it.
up, and like that mom who was there talking the other day at the press conference, and she went back into the Oval Office to talk to Trump. He didn't stand up to give her a hug.
Right.
He like
Yeah.
sat in his, he just sits in that chair, and I'm like, what's going on with Trump sitting
Yeah,
in that
He
chair
well,
all
was
the time?
he was just in a meeting with these fishermen. One was from American Samoa and one was from Hawaii. And
Mm.
he was sitting in the chair and all the people were standing around him and he was going to sign an
I'll
executive
look for
order.
that.
But yeah, he has
Yeah.
been like seated more, you know,
Have you
because
noticed that, Barb?
yes, I have. I
Yeah.
have. And I thought, is it just me or is he sitting
Yeah.
alone? You're right.
Yeah.
So I really don't know because he's a very
Mm.
physical guy, so he would
Hmm.
be on his feet, he's very
Yeah.
commanding.
Yeah.
So now you could say, well, he was signing something, so he
Yeah.
was
So it
seated.
didn't seem out of
You know,
place because he does seem to be always dealing with something on his desk. I don't think that's just business or like,
right,
a subterfuge. Um, he seems mentally sharp,
right.
unlike his predecessor.
Oh, yeah.
I
We
don't know.
also have,
Maybe he's a bigger target if he stands up.
I don't know. He's in the Oval Office. You'd hope that he's not in any threat there. I mean, just from my experience being in reporting from the White House, you're absolutely scanned in every way.
Right.
I'm sure they have extra things to scan people that they don't tell you about as
Oh
well.
yeah.
And yeah, actually, we have John Smith here who is asking if he can get a message on love and finances.
Okay. John Smith.
Yep.
Okay. Um, right. Finances. Um, I feel like that John, I feel like I'm seeing you moving your money around. It's like there may be a little bit of robbing Peter to pay Paul, but it feels like a temporary circumstance. So I see you moving things from one place to the next. I feel like you can stay ahead of it. I would encourage you to take a bigger look at what you're doing as opposed to just these small steps. That's going to change. I feel like that I've got to, I feels like I got to make some big moves. So I feel like that you will end up having, I feels like my work holds steady, but
Mhm.
it may not be enough. As for love, um, I think you're gonna have to keep trying, John. I'm not seeing anybody stepping up into your life immediately. Wish I had better news. Feels like that I feel like that when your financial world stabilizes a little bit, you will give out a more stable sense of who you are and the value that you can bring to a relationship. Please put it in those terms. I'm going to stabilize my finances. I'm going to find myself less worried and concerned. Going to make some big changes. Feels like I'm seeing you get rid of things that you don't really need. Look hard at that, and then your love life rebounds.
Oh, well, that's very nice. That's good. Let's see if we have
I'll take one last
Sarah.
question.
Okay, Sarab Gupta. Can you get a message from his father?
Saurabh Gupta.
Sarab
All right, Saurabh
Gupta.
Gupta.
Hmm.
Um, he
Do you have
says, tell my
your
son to
father's
put
name,
his
hon?
wallet. No, tell my son to keep his wallet in his pocket. It's like, stop, don't spend money. I mean, that seems like dad feels old school, be very conservative with, he says, just, I'm kidding, but I want you to be conservative with your money. He also says, um, I'm being, he says, don't, if you work out, don't over exercise. He's showing me it's like be moderate in exercise, walking, be gentle, moderate. Because he says you could do damage to your joints. I don't know if that makes sense for him. Also, he says, watch, manage your spending more forcefully.
Okay.
Dad sounds like a conservative kind of guy. Sorry.
It's nice. Okay. So, wanted to just take a few minutes let's see, we don't have any other questions right now. I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight too, and I hope everyone who does observe Easter, that everybody has a peaceful and um, lovely holiday. We have um, we have to really, I don't know how to say this. Maybe I'll just keep going because this is what I wanted to share. I have not reported on this stuff deliberately for a long time because um, I just didn't see the point of it. There's a lot of people who have I have some video clips here that I wanted to share. Um, and then I'll explain why I'm sharing it. So it's very short. Let just focus on the eyes.
NATO forces, and protecting the population and minimizing civilian casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine. Civilian casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine.
Okay.
Is she a reptilian?
NATO
Okay.
forces.
So, well, it certainly appears that way. I want to share another one.
What the hell?
Yeah, yeah. Let me go to, I want to explain this. I just found that I have a splinter in my thumb and it hurts. Okay. Oops.
No bleeding on the show, okay?
I
That's
know,
that's
right?
a rule.
Now take a look at this one. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Quite good at this. And
Focus on the eyes.
you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean, Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes. He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I'm.
Okay.
Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes.
Something about those gold, vases. Okay, so let's just keep going here. This is,
Oh, yeah.
hold on.
Woo.
Oh, of course, a commercial has to come up. Is this sharing, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see
You're
it.
sharing. Okay.
Big
Skip
teeth.
ad.
I
Okay.
could barely walk 100 feet in this body just a couple of months
Oh,
back.
another commercial.
Look,
Hold
I
on a
was stuck
second.
at over 300
Okay.
pounds.
This is.
Yeah.
These are coins. Yeah.
Interesting.
So check this out.
Oh.
Be my first directing.
Oh shit, look at her eyes.
Do it anywhere else. I know my character so well. I know a lot. I'm excited about that. It's more right now I'm thinking about.
Look at her eyes.
Oh.
Slit like a cat.
Do I cut in the middle of the scene? If I
Or a
know
lizard.
someone's acting
Like a
opposite
straight
me,
cat.
It really puts a lot of
Yeah.
power in my
I'm
hands.
telling you.
So
And she takes a toast to it. Crazy ass bitch.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was in there. Oh my God, I can't believe that.
I just caught that on TV.
I'm gonna mute you. Here you go again.
Eyes. What the hell with the eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Modern world.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hiding it anymore. Yeah, look at
No.
that. Look at that.
They can't. I'm gonna get into that.
Eee,
Mm-hmm.
pretty creepy. And Zuckerberg too. He's
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Let's.
Mm-hmm.
wow.
You might think that that's a camera distortion, but I'm thinking no.
Mm. Right. Oh, the news anchors, they're really always the ones with the
Wow.
yeah. And I'm only sharing this because I know a lot of people have a hard time believing, like they think we're the only thing that God created, and we're
Yeah.
not. Take a look at this.
Oh no, not Shannon Breen.
Whoa!
Oh
Yeah,
man.
let's watch that again. Hold on.
Man,
Eek!
They
what
have, yeah, this is when their cloaking doesn't doesn't work any
hold
longer.
up real
Yeah.
well.
Here's another one. That's her. Let's see if she does it again. The camera picks it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't always see it. I mean, I have seen it in person myself. Here's it.
Oh, what the hell?
Wow.
Yeah, so this is what happens. I mean, we're dealing with,
Oh, look at her.
Yeah.
so but there's a cloaking technology that um
But they had like a glitch.
yeah,
Like
but more and more, well, more and more, this is where the Bible explains this, actually. Let me move this forward.
oh, Madonna. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's nice compilation here. I mean,
Yeah.
but there's some
We have
more.
Lady Gaga.
Check it out.
Ah,
One of the eyes is doing it. Mhm.
yeah.
They like shape shift. Yeah. They can't hold their form all the time.
Oh, Christ.
Hmm.
That's demonic.
So the cameras, interestingly, the cameras do pick this stuff up. It's quite interesting. I'll just play a little bit more, and then I wanted to get into the biblical explanation of this. Let's see. This is when it fails, you know. You can
Yeah.
see it break down.
Yeah.
Wow.
See half the face. Yeah, the liquid crystal technology. It's called liquid crystal hologram technology that they have. Um, and that's how they keep their form. And how do we know this? Well, how do we know this? Let me just see if there's another one I wanted to share. Oh, this was
It's like devil's advocate.
The Devil's Advocate movie does demonstrate some of this.
Shifting, yeah.
something about compression errors. I don't know. Then I came across these images he's saying.
I'll play both parts. I'll be the Christian and tell you this, and then I'll be the Muslim and give the answer.
Ooh,
What?
something happened to his face.
Yeah.
Half his face.
Whoa.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on to your mind.
You were at a place and you saw somebody change religion to another religion in the temple of that religion, and the father was the priest there. What would you think?
Yeah.
His whole face changed.
Hey.
Hologram. It's a hologram. So this is interesting stuff. Look at the guy in the back. His eyes going, yeah.
Yeah.
Comunica con tutti.
And I know
Angelina.
in particular, I reached out to UNHCR and we talk often about daily on reports what's happening. And I know that that the team there for UNHCR is extremely frustrated that they can't access the people. They can't get to the internally displaced people because of the violence until there's a ceasefire, they actually can't reach them. That's a particular part of the UN that brings aid relief and is able to be present, and they can't get there.
Did her eyes change?
I'm looking
There
at
they go. Did you just miss it? Yeah. Try it again. Watch.
Because of the violence until there's a ceasefire, they actually can't
very
reach
quick.
them. That's a particular part of the UN that brings aid relief
when
and
they
is able
close
to
up
be
on her
present,
face.
and they can't get there.
Watch this one in particular. Very quick. There it goes. Do you see that?
No.
You might not have seen it. Yeah. Okay, here. They're going to show you in slow motion. It goes all the way down. It stretches and it goes all the way down. There you go.
Oh.
Okay.
That was fast.
Yeah. It was. It was. Saw that one, right, Barb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go. Oops.
Not like.
You're not supposed to blink sideways.
No.
You're supposed to be horizontal, not vertical. But you can see this.
Yeah.
So these are the people they parade in front of us to entertain us and distract us while they're doing all these terrible things. So that gives you the idea of what that exists, okay? And digging in my files as I do, this was something that I came up with that I wanted to share real quick.
That is beyond creepy.
This apron that is mentioned in Isaiah 3 is also a reference to Genesis 3, where it says, the appearance of them both blossomed and the fig branch was sewn together. So it's talking about the humans and the Isha here after they start using the technology that makes them appear beautiful. It says their appearance blossomed and the fig branch was sewn together. That's Israel. We talk about that in the video on the body snatchers in the Bible. It's below. And then it says they made themselves 2290, which means apron or armor. So when they started using this technology that changed their appearance and made them beautiful, they made themselves aprons or armor. So again, it's talking about a covering over their whole body. Wow. And this word 2290 is used again in Isaiah right here, 2290. Apron or armor. So they made this armor in the story of Genesis that disguises their appearance. And then in Isaiah, it says that at the day of the Lord, that armor will be taken away, that covering.
Wow.
Okay, and then the other reason this apron thing is interesting because it may refer to the secret societies like the Masons who traditionally wear an apron.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And supposedly George Washington was a Mason, as you can see here, this drawing of him wearing the apron.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess John Wayne was a Mason.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry Truman, I guess the astronaut, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong, etc. I mean, I guess this is a list of famous people that are supposedly Masons. I mean, I don't know how accurate this is. But like Walt Disney is right here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's pretty much, I think, well known, at least at this point in history, that the Masons are very influential in our society. So that may be what this apron reference is referring to. I mean, because they are very influential. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then it also mentions the signet ring of authority. It says the signet ring of authority has something to do with all of this. And
Yeah,
the
they give them
Masons
a ring.
also are
Yeah.
known for their signet ring, which
Yeah.
many influential people have been accused of wearing. So so I just kind of wanted to point that out. Maybe that has something to do with it. But this is where it gets really deep. Because at first I was
Listen to
trying to
this.
figure out, okay, why would a ring
It's
have
pretty
anything to do
fascinating.
with appearance?
membrane
I mean,
cloak.
it clearly says that.
Wait,
It
wait, wait. The
says
best part. Hold on.
the
Watch this.
countenance ring, which does refer to appearance. So the first thing that I did was I looked to see if there were any other stories in the Bible about a ring and a covering. And there are a few. And the main one that I found was in the story of Joseph. So in Genesis 41, we're told that the Pharaoh of Egypt gave his ring to Joseph and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen. And this word translated as vestures, which is number 899, it means garment, but it also means treachery or deceit. So again, we have this connection between a garment that they use, which is their means of deception. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
That's in the story of Joseph. Okay, but the other thing about Joseph is that in Genesis 37, his father, Israel, or Jacob, makes him a coat of many colors. And at first glance, you think, what's the big deal? His dad gave him a coat that was colorful. I mean, why was that such a huge deal? Why did they have to make a point of telling us about that? Why were all of his brothers so jealous about just a colorful coat? And then it hit me. I was kind of looking at this musical, this Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I mean, it was actually a musical made about this story of Joseph being given this colorful coat. And I'm kind of looking at that and I'm thinking, what's the big deal about this? I mean, I guess they call it the dream coat because Joseph was always interpreting dreams, but I'm not sure why they call it the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I mean, it says many colors. I don't know where they get the Technicolor from, but the point is, the story's kind of odd. I mean, it seems like there's something else going on there, and then it hit me that color, when it says the coat of many colors, it's referring to the light spectrum. So again and again in the text, we have these references to light. I don't know if you've noticed that. So like, remember it says Satan will appear as an angel of light. And that doesn't refer to just one person because we've proved that. It refers to more than one. It's talking about they, them, the Satan is a group of non-humans. And it says they appear as angels of light. And we talk about that in the video on the Dragon, the Beast, and the Harem. If you want to check that out, it's linked below. But then it's also talking about how they use this technology that changes their appearance and makes them beautiful. Well, it deceives human eyes. Well, what do human eyes detect? Light. So it just again and again is saying in all these different ways that it's a light technology that they use, and that's their main means of deception. And now we see in the story of Joseph that again it's talking about a garment that is a coat of colors, which refers to light. In other words, the text is telling us that Joseph was given a coat of light.
Wow.
So it's the technology. It's basically telling us right here that Joseph was given that technology, the code of light. And that's why it was so important to mention. But then in Genesis 41, it says he was also given a ring and arrayed in the deceptive garment. Remember, that word means deceptive and garment. So he was given a ring with that. So the ring has something to do with this technology that both the humans and the Isha are using, because it says here the countenance ring in Isaiah 3, and that's in the context of the changeable suits of apparel, the covering membrane, and the cloak. So there's no question the Lord is saying here that their deceitful cloaking technology will be taken away.
Good.
And this ring has something to do with it. And then the ring and the garment is also mentioned in a story in Luke 15. And I thought this was interesting because it's the story of a son who was dead but is now alive. So it says he's given the best robe and a ring to put on his hand. And it says twice in the story that he was dead and now is alive. So we talk about this more in, again, the video called Body Snatchers in the Bible, because it's a concept that appears elsewhere in the Bible. It seems to be telling us that they can use this technology not only to make themselves appear more beautiful, but also to use the appearance of someone who's dead. So that's obviously why I named the video Body Snatchers in the Bible, because it seems to be saying that the Nephilim are impersonating dead people in addition to just disguising their real appearance. But the ring is all, that's what this seems to be confirming as well. The ring, the brother was dead and now is alive and is wearing a robe and a ring. So again, that robe and the ring, it connects to the cloak and the changeable suits of apparel, etc.
Well, that makes it very
Okay,
solid.
so I'm thinking, what does a ring have to do with image technology or light technology? And my first thought was, well, maybe this ring emits a magnetic field that envelops the person's body or something like that. So I Googled electromagnetic field and ring, and I found out that an electromagnetic field itself is shaped like a ring, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I mean, even the Earth's magnetic field itself is shaped like a ring. So this ring that the texts refer to, that has something to do with the image technology, the cloak, it may refer to the magnetic field that they're using. So this seems to be the cloak that they're speaking of, that special garment, the deceitful covering that uses light to fool human eyes into thinking that they're perceiving something beautiful. It's the coat of many colors that was so valuable, the coat of light, the ring of light, the ring of an electromagnetic field around the body. So it's some kind of really high-tech or advanced technology. And it's amazing to me also that these ideas that are in the Bible that we're discovering are everywhere throughout movies and television. I'm almost starting to think that the movie makers get their best ideas from the Bible, because check this out, the changeable suits of apparel right here in Isaiah 3:22. It's in the movie A Scanner Darkly. It's this suit that he wears called a scramble suit, and it's made up of 1.5 million images of men, women, and children, they say. So basically, it's this disguise that humans are not able to discern. And And in that movie, there's this one scene where they actually look like locusts. And notice the sign back here, it says June of 44. And that blew my mind because that's right around the time mentioned in the Bible. It says the fig tree sprung forth when they started using the technology. And the fig tree is Israel, which became a nation in 1947 by the UN, which came into existence in 1945, but was in the beginning stages in 1944. So that kind of blew me away. So it seems like the people that make these movies, they actually already know all of this, what all of this means in the Bible. That's where they're getting their ideas. I mean, the title of this movie, A Scanner Darkly, actually comes from First Corinthians 13:12, which says we see through a glass darkly. So I don't know, that blew my mind. And then the signet ring is also in the movie Gatsby, the recent one, the 2013 version. So I can't put these clips on YouTube, but check the links below, because as soon as I get this video up, I'm having problems with my software right now, but as soon as I get the video up, I'll link it below. But in the movie Gatsby, they show this ring. And right here again, this is another clip of it.
Yeah.
And they don't really say what it is, but this old man shows up and says Gatsby doesn't really exist, that it's all part of an elaborate disguise, that Gatsby appears to everyone as someone different. I mean, it's really bizarre. And then obviously the movie The Lord of the Rings seems to tie into all this as well. So anyway, I'm out of time. So if you want...
Okay, so I just wanted to show you, really had to give her, I had to give her that, probably about 13 minutes, sorry, but it's like the way this wonderful researcher puts all of this together, the light bulbs go off in our minds, and that's why she's sharing it with us. And so they were born with this mark. They said they were going to be, uh, because they didn't look as nice as humans, did, that this is the line of the serpents, this is the line of the Canaanites, right? So they were born with this mark, which meant that because they were part serpent, so they had this rough skin. So they had to say, they argued with Joseph saying, or no, with the Yahweh, that there would be they would be killed. They would be attacked and killed because of the way they looked. And so it was Yahweh who gave them this technology to fool the eye of the humans, so that we wouldn't couldn't identify them and wouldn't kill them. Now, this is why you see the glitches on the television, because the screens don't always hide it, right? The television can pick up things that our eyes cannot, because that was the whole point. But it does say in the beginning of this that this will come down in the end times. So this technology will come down. And of course, it has to do with electromagnetism that keeps this going. They also call it liquid crystal hologram. So I don't understand the physics behind, all of that. I just know that made so much sense for me, so that I could put it all together. I have seen people, and that's the thing, is that they have to have this ring, and there's something about this ring that could have blood in it in order to keep them electromagnetically attached, in this form, or they could have this technology that it's like a hologram technology, and that's what she's describing. So it's just amazes me that the Bible actually describes holographic technology, and shows us how we're being deceived, and so now we can have greater discernment. And on Easter weekend, what I think an amazing, that's why I'm saying, what an amazing presentation of information to just validate the Bible one more time, and validate
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, and how much more meaningful is this weekend now that we know this? And that's what I wanted to share. And I know it's late. I appreciate you staying up, and anyone who's
It's
watching.
fascinating. It just is. I mean,
Satan is the great
the
deceiver.
great deceiver,
The
and
great
also
deceiver, and
he would use any and all technology at his fingertips
Yeah.
to make that happen, obviously.
technology, exactly. And we've had, I mean, look, this is what so all of this technology is going to come out and become available. But the funny thing is that there, was another line of, I don't know if I would say human, but they were reptilian. They're hybrids. They're human hybrids, and that's what
Right.
Yahweh created, was these human hybrids. Now, Yahweh is not um our heavenly Father.
Right.
That's not the same entity. So
Right.
their God is different than our God, just so we understand that. Although they just because they want to deny it, that's all. They want to deny who, our heavenly creator is. But all I wanted to say was to share that with everybody on Easter. If I gave you insight into the deception of this world, then I'm glad that I played that part. Thanks to her, this lovely lady who did not go into this research because she wanted to. She was compelled to do it for,
Sure.
That's
and
great.
yeah, so, but definitely fascinating stuff. They always hide everything in the movies, and you have to wonder.
Yeah.
It's also our notice. They say if we don't object, it's consent. So
Right.
even
Right.
if we don't know it, we don't understand it. Now we go back and we look at things. It's always been there. And, this might be part of these truths that come out in the end. We don't know, but at least we're prepared for it. So I hope I wish everyone who does observe has a lovely Easter weekend. It's a good thing to, you know, pick up that book and keep looking at
Yes.
it. And how do we understand it? I mean, I think that's the problem, is it's so confusing, and there's so many, allegories, and so many, it's so confusing. We think we understand it. We think we know what we're reading, and we don't. But I'm telling you, they're not gonna. Are they teaching this in the churches?
No, not even there.
So, well, I want to thank everyone who joined us. I know that was a little bit different oh yeah, we got some, yeah, it was still going. So that's, yeah, we're done for the night. Matt, can you join us next week? Uh, if you can join us next week, because we went really overtime today, but that was a special presentation. It really was,
It
it is
was
Easter weekend,
wonderful
and
for
it was.
Holy Week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. I wanted to have something. I just, I was
Thanks for
compelled
sharing
to
it.
go this way as well. And so everybody can understand, where that these, entities exist. This is real. The Bible's real, folks. It's very real. It's all there. It's all been described to us if we just take the time to go through it like she did and really look up. Each word has a number, and you can really understand what they're referring to if you have enough of a researching mind to want to find, make sense out of it. So happy Easter to everybody.
Easter.
And we will see you guys next week. Are you going to be back next week, or did you?
We'll be back next week, and if anyone wants to find
Yes.
me, go to
Yeah.
marknelsonmedium.com. I know I'm like
We
shameless
are so
plug.
tired. I know but we're so tired tonight. I almost forgot. Here's Mark's website, marknelsonmedium.com. You can go here, schedule readings. That's a great gift idea for a friend or a loved one. I always gave these as gifts, and they were always loved and
Well, thank
appreciated.
you.
And yeah, they're wonderful as a gift idea. So please go there and visit Mark. And we'll see you all next week. Happy Easter, everybody. Thanks for
Happy Easter,
joining us.
Lisa. Happy Easter,
Thank you
everybody.
so much. And this concludes